And we should be live. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Another stream, another day. Today we're starting off in Bengaluru and we're going to be doing a short flight over to Hyderabad. The goal for this flight today is to be teaching a VOR approach, start to finish, everything. Right now we're sitting in Bangalore and we're going to be doing a short hop over to Hyderabad. We're going to be running through a VOR approach today. We'll be going through the charts and everything. In fact, let's just look over the charts we've got. So these are the Bangalore charts. Let's change it over to Hyderabad. There we go, Hyderabad. So just opening up the charts. We're going to be doing an approach into winds allowing. We'll be trying for VOR runway 09 left. Otherwise, we're going to be doing an approach for VOR runway 27 right. Now, Hyderabad has two parallel runways. 09 left and 27 right are the north runway, and these are the secondary runway in Hyderabad. The reason we're doing this right now is there is a NOTAM out, and the primary runway is not in use. It is under renovation. So we're going to be doing an approach for the north runway. If you look at the charts over here, we'll just look at 09 left. One thing to keep in mind for 09 left, which is quite significant, is there is quite an offset between the runway and a final approach course. So as you see, a final approach course is 097, which means on this final approach course, our track will be 097 degrees. But the taxi or the runway orientation, just open that up really quick. The runway orientation is 090 degrees. So there is a 7-degree offset between the angle that we come into and the orientation of the runway, which is a significant offset for a VOR approach. Usually you have 2 or 3 degrees. So at the end, we're going to be needing to make quite an adjustment to come back onto center line. And we'll talk you through the procedures in an A320 for a VOR approach. But yeah, the significant factors for us to keep in mind is platform altitude will be 3,600. We'll come back and do the chart properly. But 3,600 at 4.6 DME, we will begin a descent at 3-degree glide path, as is given over here, and descend down to a DA, which will be 2430 plus 50 feet, which we take as a margin in my airline. So you'll have 2480 feet. And since this is a non-precision approach, and high intensity lighting system, PAPI is available on your left. So that's all well and good. Inbound track of 090, that is something to keep in mind. So that when we disconnect, we'll be turning in for 090. Let's head back into the aircraft now. And let's set it up really quickly today. Just start the batteries, charging. That's all well and good. Let's turn up the brightness. I found keybinds that say, this is supposed to help move between the different instrument views, but it doesn't seem to be working for me for some reason. So you guys are going to have to be a little more patient on that front for some more time. But otherwise, we're just going to go ATSU, AOC menu, init data request. That is correct. And we're just going to set up the init A for now, then we'll do our overhead. The flight plan for this flight number is 422. cost index of, we'll just take 12. And to Hyderabad, so we'll just take 350. We could actually even take 330. Not too far to go. We'll let that be, and a tropo of 55,000. All right. Now with this done, we're just gonna quickly go to our overhead here. If I can move, there we go. Instruments, overhead, lower. There we go. And let's run through the preparation. Okay, that's all good. I'm gonna quickly align it. Normally you would wait for the on backlight, but since it's a sim, I'm gonna use my shut that, and let's just do the fire test. And we should be back. Yeah, sorry about that. So my Wi-Fi is back as of now, and I was on hotspot. So I was trying to switch back because I think you guys were facing maybe some audio issues on my part. That might have been because I was on the mobile hotspot trying to keep the stream going. So yeah, fuel, why is this opened up? 9,500, we'll keep around 8. Yeah, 8.3 tons seems good. We'll drop it down to, no, that's around 8 tons. Yeah, 8.2, that's good. That's all well and good. There is no fuel truck. This is cheating. All right. So yeah, we'll go back to setting up. So this would be useful in case of any immediate return for, an engine failure or anything of the sort. Do let me know if you guys would be interested in me explaining the briefing. If you guys would like me to do a departure and approach briefing, and I'll be happy to help you guys out. Transition altitude out of Bangalore 7,000. Speeds today, gross weight 58.3, pretty light. Since I don't have an actual calculator, I'm just approximating these to what I think it would be approximately here. 132, 132, and 134 should be good. Since it's a dry runway for now, no issues as such. Pre-selected speed, no, we'll leave it as of now. Yeah, zero fuel weight will be, what is that? 8.1 reduced from that will be 50.2. And this is a rough calculation, this is not the actual case. Alright, trip fuel for us. Our trip wind will keep us -15. We'll just plan for headwinds, or we may not get that. Trip is 2.2, so around 2.1 for the alternate, since our filed alternate is returned back to Bangalore. We still got quite a bit of extra fuel. Right, this will be 0.2. It's either 200 kgs or 5% of your route reserve, whichever one's higher. And final 30 minutes, that's all good. So this is calculated for 30 minutes of holding at the holding out rate 1500 feet. Alright, block of 8.1, this is all good. Now you would fill this first, get a calculated takeoff weight, and using that calculate a performance. But as of now, as you see, I just did it in a hurry. All right, what's the Bangalore QNH? 1009er. So we're just gonna keep that in mind. Overcast 300 and view 2500 CB, 30 degrees, all good. For Hyderabad, it'll be 1007. So we'll just keep those figures in mind. But for now, we just set this 1009er. Same for the standby. And we're all good over here. Just manage that. IR is aligned. MCDU is set. We would do the briefing, get all the paperwork done, check everything's in line. This is not right, so this would be on auto. Seatbelts on, that goes on. Fueling is complete. Parking brake is on anyway. I don't think the external is connected. Let's just, external is still connected. Yeah, sorry, I missed that. So external can, AP bleed. External can go to available, and now we'll see the APU is powering our. Now you see the APU is powering the electricals of the aircraft, and the external is no longer in use. All right, we'll call for the tug and check out where this guy is. I don't see a tug. I wonder if there's anyone coming or if we're gonna be pushed back by a ghost. Hey guys, if you look at that, there's a rainbow. It's a double rainbow. That's pretty nice. All right, now quickly, everything's set up. I guess we've got an imaginary tug in place. So beacon on, parking brakes off. We'll do a before start checklist and then push back. So, I mean, we would have done it. If you guys want, I can be doing checklists, but as of now, just push back. Those are all armed. Let's push. Right, slightly to the left. And let's go right. That didn't really go as intending, but it's all right. Just gonna go straight for a bit. Align ourselves onto that taxiway properly. And meanwhile, we'll start engine number 1. I'd say that's pretty well done, huh? Never mind. It's alright. We'll stop a pushback here. Set parking brakes. We're not going to discuss. There's a reason I'm not a pushback operator. This should have come off automatically. With engine start, that turns off. Just watching all the parameters, making sure everything's all good. I'm just going to have a quick, refreshing sip of water. Santi, welcome back, buddy. How are you? Nice to have you back over here. Help me out if I miss anything, yeah? And we're just going to quickly start engine number 2 as well. We'll check with ground, of course, that the engines are clear to start, and then you start engine once you get the clearance. Hey, buddy Santi. So, if you could help me out with checklist today, that'll be great again. I tend to be doing a, I tend to be showing a VOR approach over at Hyderabad, explaining it a little bit. Oh, it's starting to drizzle a little bit. Just keep that in mind. And with the engine start, we're going to start a chrono. This is a Leap 1 Alpha, so you're going to require 3 minutes of warm-up time before you can set takeoff thrust. All right, let's do pilot flying flows first. So mode selector goes to normal. Come up here, APU bleed off. Engine anti-ice is not required. APU can go off. All well and good. Come down here, pilot monitoring, spoilers arm, rudder trim neutral, flaps 1, please. Thank you very much. Set the trim, but we'll leave that at 30. And after start checklist. So after start checklist, if you're there, Santi, we can do it now, or I can just run through it on my own. However, all right. Anyway, just meanwhile, I will start running through the checklist. And so after start, anti-ice is off. ECAM status. Whoops, something's moved. All right. ECAM status. We see there's no status message over here. That means it's all normal. Or you could just press status and see that it's normal. So status check is off. ECAM status check. Pitch trip is set to. You'll go to fuel prediction page over here. You'll check your CG 21.6. So let's actually change this to meet 21.6. That's quite a forward CG. Right, would have had to calculate for that. But all right, let's go down here to instruments, pedestal, upper, and let's set this to 21.6. It would be nice if I could see the arrow, but you can't. I'm cheating, yeah? You don't add thrust over here. 21.6. That's somewhere around. And let's go back to the pilot. Pilot view. Pilot view. Please. Thank you very much. All right. And rudder trim is set to 0. Flap setting. We'll go config 1. Sorry, we didn't put this, so this will be 1.2 up. Yeah, config 1, 1, and 1. First officer will check the same thing, config 1, 1, and 1. And please subscribe to my... I had not seen that you've actually got a channel out there, buddy. Absolutely will do. And I'll be watching your streams as well. Just let the stream finish and I'll be coming over, and I guarantee you I'll be there on yours. It's nice to have another T20 first officers channel I can check out as well. Can bounce ideas off each other. So config 1, 1, and 1. And after start checklist complete, we'll just do a flight controls check. 1 second, let's just seat ourselves down here properly. So flight controls, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder check, full left, full left, full right, neutral. Flight control checks complete. First officer would set this up, but since I don't want to be doing all this during taxi, we're just gonna quickly hurry up. We'll inform the cabin crew to get ready. 3 minutes are up, warm-up time's done, so that's not an issue. And we can do our takeoff config test. All right, we're going to continue our taxi out now. Yes, please, 2 seats for takeoff. Okay, parking brakes are off, taxi lights on. Daytime, so we don't need runway turn on lights or turn off lights. Just going to add side thrust, clear left side, clear right side, and just start a taxi out. Not to increase 40% of N1 thrust. Thank you. No worries, buddy. Absolutely. I'd love to check out your channel as well. Do let me know when you're streaming, if you have a regular schedule. I can imagine it would be tough to have a regular schedule. But in case you do, let me know. We're taxiing fast. You wouldn't be taxiing at these speeds in the apron. But hey, I mean, you got to have some benefits of being in a sim, right? No harm, no foul. But if anyone would like me to stick to all rules and regulations, feel free to let me know, and we can definitely do that. When it comes to the flying, though, yeah, we'll be sticking to the rules. If we're not stabilized, we go around. If we won't be pushing our luck. All right, clear right side, and let's just turn left under 10 knots. Now, in the real life, you don't taxi with the rudder, you taxi with the tiller. But since that is not really programmed in over here, that's why the flight control page keeps popping up, because I end up giving a rudder input, and it just takes that to be, yeah, see, flight control page is popped up in the lower ECAM once again. But actually, you would be taxiing with the tiller, so that page would not show up. It does show up automatically when you're doing your flight control checks, though, as you saw a little while ago. All right, so I'm quickly going to do the lights for takeoff so as not to delay ourselves when we line up. And lights, takeoff. We'll keep the on, beacons on, wing lights can be off, strobes can go on, and TCAS will be TARA, please. That's that. And let's come back onto the center line. Approach path seems clear, slightly rainy. It's just beginning, but we're going to depart out of here all well and good, and head on over to Hyderabad for the VOR approach. Short flight, should be about an hour once airborne. Alright, now you could follow the yellow line, you should actually, but I'm just going to utilize all the runway available to me since my performance calculations were just off the top of my head. Alright, so you don't really need to stop, you could have done a rolling, but I want to check that everything is set. Max brakes, spoilers armed, all good, lights are all on, APU's off, packs can go off. There we go. It's tough to see from over here. Alright, let's just set our thrust to 50%. N1, let it stabilize. Side stick half deflection forward, and Gotta find the detent on this throttle, that's the issue. Manflex 50 SRS auto thrust blue. I don't know why it doesn't show runway. This runway does have IRS capability. 100 knots. Release the side stick pressure. V1 rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Lever climb. Thrust climb, auto thrust. And let's follow the FT bars. And we go AP1 over here. I'd love to hand fly it, but I'm just quickly. Why does it show a return to Bravo India Alpha? What is this routing? User rated. Let's go direct to the second rated. Flaps 0. Speed check. Flaps 0. And crossing 7,000 feet will go standard. Let's increase. Let's continue our climb to flight level. Initially, it would be cleared from here 24 or 250. We're going to work out the sequencing and why it's acting so messed up in a bit. Passing level 70, set standard. Standard set, cross checked. Passing level 81 now. That's all checked, and the landing lights can go off. Packs should have come off. Come on over there. Wait about 10 seconds, and we start pack number 2. So pack 2 comes with flaps, pack 1 comes with thrust reduction, but you have a 2-man cockpit doing that, so. Alright, after later, for some reason over here, what it's doing is, goes to later, then it comes back to Bravo India Alpha. We don't want it to do that. So we're just going to delete Bravo India Alpha. And now, there we go, later, and it continues to Viram. And over to Sacro for, I don't know what it's doing now. Is it not on track? Why does it put such a high intercept? Alright, it is coming back on a track slowly. So we'll just let it do its thing for now. TAT 23, all well and good. Look at that. Just along the side of this. Normally you would give it a little more separation. Too much wind. I'm not sure, it's just showing 11 knots. The nav in this is quite messed up. So let's do one thing. Let's just take heading and select heading. Even yesterday I was trying it out and I don't know. You can see it's not following the track line. Airbus golden rules. If you don't like what you see, take over. Now the fourth one is use appropriate level of automation. Golden rules of Airbus flying. Aviate, navigate, communicate, and use appropriate level of automation. What that implies is if the automation is messing up, you're responsible to take over. So always keep a good track, read your FMA, check your ND, see that the aircraft is performing how you expect it to perform, and if it's not, that's your job. Take over, fly it as needed. All right, let's continue our climb to flight level 330. All well and good. Understand your FMA at all times. Absolutely. The most important thing. You need to know what your aircraft's doing. All right, we had not done 10,000, so we'll just, seatbelts can go, yeah, seatbelts can go off for now. And airports on my side, clear ride nav and copy active, but since over here it doesn't auto tune, what I'm just gonna do is actually I'll just change it to Hotel India Alpha for Hyderabad. Rather than clear it. Secondary, you would copy active, but the secondary flight plan here just doesn't work. So that's that, and I'm just gonna set this to 09 left for Hyderabad. All the winds are 3006 knots, so slight tailwinds for 09, but it's fine. I mean, it's a VOR, so you would take the other one, but I want to show the large offset. So for that reason, we're still going to take 09 left. It's within limits. And optimum 385, rec max 389er, but we're going to cruise at 330 because I want this to level off pretty soon. It's a pretty short flight anyway. 1240 is our expected arrival, so about 30 minutes more. So we would be starting a descent in about another 100 miles or so. All right, while the aircraft continues to fly, let's keep it at 014. All right, continue tracking to later, climbing, passing level 2 to 3. Let's quickly move over to the charts and discuss the VOR chart again. So if I can just Hyderabad approach VOR 09 left. So as we discussed, the runway orientation for 09 left is 090. Final approach course is 097. So it's quite a major offset. All right, let's just read through the charts. So we'd go VOR runway 09 left. Chart is 13-1, effective 28th March. The other pilot will cross-check that they've got the same chart. And then you'll continue. The ATC frequencies, you've got them, so that's not really something we always go over, but you can go over. VOR 113.8, so you would cross-check that with your RADNAV. And final approach course is 097. So let's just do one thing. Let's quickly set up the box actually before we do our briefing. So arrival 09 left, and okay, there's no star given over here, but you would have sacro otherwise. They've given it via the overhead. We'll just take radar vectors to finals, right? And since we're just going to do it anyway, so we set Hotel India Alpha, and you have to set the final approach course for both of these. Now this helped us out yesterday, if you guys remember, when we had to do a go around and come back. Since the ILS, we had very strong tailwinds of about 20-22 knots and we weren't stabilized. So we did a go around and came around for the opposite runway, VOR in Ahmedabad. So with that in mind, as you can see, setting that final approach course is very helpful for situational awareness. Barrow altitude for us will be, if you just look at the chart, it will be 2430 plus 50 feet, so 2480. So let's just set that 2480. All right, we'll do a config full landing. 306 knots, so 300 degrees, 6 knots, temperature of, what is that, 33. 1007. You would hand over control while doing all of this, but since I haven't, I'm just going to look up and just quickly check all well and good. Okay, we're doing all fine, still climbing up, nothing major on our way, and we can continue. Temperature has to be 33, not 3. And transition altitude for Hyderabad would be, let's see, where is 7,000. So level would be with the QNH of 1009, it would be level 85. Hello, is the VNAV working properly? VNAV is working pretty well. I mean, your open climb is working. There is no managed climb. No, the managed climb is not working, if that is your question. In fact, even with the navigation mode for what would be LNAV in a Boeing, as of right now, as you can see, I've pulled heading because I'm not happy with the performance of the LNAV mode or the nav mode in an Airbus. So yeah, that's why I pulled heading for now, and we're climbing selected. It's completely selected, open climb and heading. This for the go around set to 3000, 3500. Right, fuel prediction page. We expect landing 5.4 tons. We're at 6.8, so about 1.4 less from this. That'll make a landing weight 55.5. So using that weight, we would do a landing distance calculations, the weather, the weight, all of that, and we'll cross-check. Secondary, we would have copied if we had everything set, and just set this to low brakes, flap full, so we'll leave the landing, the GPWS off. And our MCDU is set. We'd have the other pilot cross-check, and once that is cross-checked, we do the briefing. Still climbing, we've got about 2,000 feet more to go. Have you been facing issues with your LNAV and VNAV modes or the managed modes in the Airbus as well? This is the fly-by-wire mode. I'm not sure about the default A320. I don't believe it was working too well in that either. All right. LNAV has been more or less fine. Sometimes it turns around when going on approach. Yeah, for me, 1,000 to go. See, let's actually try it out. So nav, the descent in this is quite steep as well. She descends very quick, more than the real life. Let's push it to manage nav and let's see how it works as of now. Approach is quite messed up indeed, but during cruise as well, it's got its moments. But let's see if she follows properly for now. So we're in manage nav mode, and let's see how that goes. All right, next point, Viram 011, 55 miles, speed alt star. We'll set our TCAS to below. Set our TCAS to below. And we would set in the wind information, sorry, the temperature information, but in the Leap 1 Alpha, you see it's blocked out here for some reason. So all right, we'll just leave that as is. And let's just quickly do our briefing. Use open descent or VS. Yeah, that's probably a nice way to do it right now. Take it in your own hands. All right, here's the chart. So descent, we have to descend at what's the elevation? 2,000 feet. We're at 330, so 31,000 feet to descend. That's 93 miles and approximately 10 to 15 miles per track miles. But then radar vectors and all that put together is about 10 miles. So around 95 miles from Hotel India Alpha, we can take our descent. And currently, we are at 160 miles, right? So about 8 miles a minute, you can take that as average. So about 9 minutes from now, we'll be starting a descent. So let's just start a timer here anyway. And let's quickly go through the charts in the next 9 minutes. So here's a chart. Let's just brief through it. Hotel India Alpha 113.8. We've cross-checked that. Final approach course of 09 is set. We've set. At 4.6 DME, you have a check altitude of 3,600 feet. So you would cross-check that at 4.6 DME, you are correctly at 3,600 to be on profile. And DA of 2430 plus 80, plus 50 for us, so 2480. Runway elevation 1972. Airport elevation 2028. So again, over here you'd come back and cross-check the landing elevation auto. It reads 50 feet here. This is not correct. This should read 2000. And the threshold crossing would have been 2020, 1972 plus 50 feet. But it shows 1990 over here. So a few errors, but yeah, alright. So if we do everything correctly on our own side, it should be all fine. So here we are. MSA is 3,600 within 25 miles all directions of Hotel India Alpha VOR. Alright, DME is required for the approach. Positively identify 09 left. It's a narrower runway, so you could have visual illusions. We'll keep that in mind. If you're wondering what visual illusions, feel free to ask me and I'd be glad to let you guys know what you can expect flying into a runway that's narrower or wider than what you're used to. Right? Transition level by the ATC will be level 85. Final approach course 097, platform altitude 3,600. At 4.6 DME, we'll descend 3-degree glide path. Since, like we were discussing, the approach seems to have issues, what I'm going to do is do a completely fully selected approach. And yeah, so one thing you would have as in a two-man cockpit is you would have these reference callouts. So what I'm actually going to do, which you guys will not be able to see, is I'm going to take a photo of this on my phone and just keep it open next to me so that during the approach I have the distance and altitude cross-check so I can make sure that we're on profile as we descend down. Once we have the runway in sight, also yeah, 4.6 DME, so 1 mile before that at 5.6 DME, we'll set -3 on the FPA. At 4.9 or 0.3 DME to go, we will pull -3. At this point, we will already be with the bird on and following the VOR mode. So with all of that, we should be tracking correctly on profile, on the correct track. Once the runway is in sight, autopilot off, flight directors off, inbound track of 090. We will maneuver to the right to come back onto the correct profile and for the center line and continue our descent at 3 degree, adjusting as required. And thereafter we'll meet our minimums and continue our landing. Alright, and high intensity lighting system, puppy available on the left. In case of missed approach, straight at 3,600, then climbing right turn to the VOR, join holding at 4,600. So our go around altitude will be 4,600. So we'll just keep that in mind. Let's head back to the aircraft, and we've still got some time to descend. At around 95 miles is where we will commence our descent for Hyderabad. So briefing's complete, all well and good, and at this point you would do the PA, inform the passengers, we had missed this, inform the passengers, and yep, we're all set. Might have missed a couple of things from the pilot monitoring flows after flap retraction, but we've covered for them now. All well and good. We've got another 5 minutes for descent. So let's use this time to enjoy the views. How about that, huh guys? Are there contrails at this level right now? No, not enough moisture. I'm just gonna take a break and have a sip of water. And back into the cockpit. Alright, so 90 miles is around, or 95 is 20 miles away. That's about 2.5 minutes more. So that would bring us to 8 minutes instead of 9 minutes. So at 8 minutes, we'll commence it once we're 95. We're not going to turn on an LS for descent since we're doing a VOR approach. If there's anything else you guys would like me to clarify, feel free to let me know. If I rush through, I feel like I did rush through the briefing, but if required, I can explain a chart once again. We'll take our time, we'll do a hold, and then we'll go in and land. But otherwise, yeah, and we'll show you how to do the approach, a fully selected VOR approach into Hyderabad. If you like the stream, please do follow. It helps out a lot. And if you've got any doubts, feel free to ask me. I'll be glad to help you guys out. Yeah. Thank you a lot, Terps, for the follow. Terps Plus Simulation. I like the name. Thanks a lot for the follow. It really does mean a lot. It's quite helpful. All right, for the descent, we're just going to put seatbelt signs on. I mean, you don't require to do it for the descent. I'm just doing it now because I don't want to forget it later on. Since I'm doing this as a one-man cockpit. In fact, doing the A320 solo is not tough at all. We practice it. We practice pilot incapacitation all the time. But doing it on flight sim, where you've got to use a mouse and look around with the mouse, it makes it quite a bit more challenging because it just takes up so much more time to do tasks that don't take up any time. All right, 100 miles. $95 is the magical figure we're looking for. And during a descent, we'll constantly calculate our profile and we'll see that we're on profile, yeah? So let's set our descent down to initially 120 or something of the sort, or they'll give us 150 usually. Since there's no ATC, just set it, 95 miles, thrust idle, open descent, flight level 150 blue, and we've commenced to descent. Manage speed, all well and good. From Sacro, we'll take a heading as well. To vector ourselves in. $15 followers, so that's amazing. It's quite crazy to think. It's a good start. And I'm loving doing this. I mean, unfortunately, flying is slowed down in real life. Don't have anything but standbys for the next week or so. I mean, I've got 1 day of flying, but everything else is standbys. So, but yeah, as of now, this is a good use of my time, and I'll be glad to help people out. Are you a pilot as well, Terps? All right, next check, we'll just do it 27,000 feet, because 2,000 feet elevation. So 25,000 to descent times 3 would make it 75,000. You add about 10 to 15 miles for deceleration, but around 10 miles we're taking away from our radar vectors. So at 27,000 feet, the figure you would want to see here would be, about 75 or 80 miles. So let's see how that goes. You've been simming since 2006. That's great, man. You've been here a long while, huh? What do you usually fly? All right, let's just check out at 27,000 feet. If we're around 75 to 80, 80 here, should be on profile. I've been looking for I'm waiting to get a good payware aircraft over here. You know, something that's accurate in the Airbus. 270, 78 miles, all well and good. Old days, FSX usually flew the PMDG 737, but now been flying the CRJ. And how is the CRJ? Is it well done? Is it accurate? The PMDG 737 I've heard is really good. I'm waiting to see some good PMDG in Microsoft Flight Sim, and my only issue is I don't really know how to fly Boeing aircraft too well yet. So I've got to learn the systems. I've got to learn the their entire concept, LNAV, VNAV, autopilot management, autoflight management. But I would love to get into flying some Boeing aircraft as well, especially if there's good mod aircraft out there, payware, freeware, whatever it might be. Do let me know how the CRJ is. I am considering trying it out. It's well done. There are certainly few bugs. Knowing one is doesn't pick up the ILS correctly in nosedives. So does it just miss the final approach fix and then just nosedive to catch it later on? Or is it just, sort of PIO, just going above and below, trying to capture the glide? But I'll consider picking it up. That'll be something nice to try. Next check, 22,000 feet, we should be 20,000 times 360, around 65 miles. And here we are, around 65 coming up. So we're on profile for our descent, all well and good. Damn. Yeah, I can imagine that would get quite irritating. If it sets the trim full down and just nosedives, that won't be pretty fun. Yeah, I guess disconnect and fly it down, huh? I love hand flying the aircraft here. The only issue is when you're, handling everything with a mouse, it just takes up so much time that you end up missing out on things that you wouldn't miss out normally because your attention you can't look at your PFT and, I've got to zoom in over here and make changes and then come back and I'll be like, oh shit, all right, I missed the FTs or the glide or whatever. So, but in real life, I mean, in VR, it's a little easier. I do have a VR headset. I do fly this in VR. It's just that when I'm streaming, it doesn't tend to work too well. But I am trying to get that working where, I get the stream working well with the VR so that, I mean, it's better managed. You guys can see what I do and I'll be able to fly better and you guys will see hopefully some slightly better landings. My only fear is I lose my excuse, yeah? As of now, I've got excuses as to why my landings are bad. Alright, let's continue our descent down to what would be 3,600 is platform altitude. Let's just cross-check that. 3,600 is platform altitude. 4.6 DME is the descent point. So just keep that in mind. 3,600 blue. If we look straight ahead, do we have the airfield inside right now? Not really. It'll be somewhere over there, most likely. After Sacro, we'll just take heading and sort of give ourselves radar vectors. One thing that is not available in this mod is it doesn't show you the arrows for predicted top of climb and predicted level of or top of climb or top of descent, which really helps with your situational awareness. Although you can, I wonder if it's there over here, predict to, that would be the end climb. So it's not really giving us a predict to position or predict to functionality, but you could utilize all that to get a better understanding. Next, at 14,000 feet, you should be somewhere around 36-40 miles. We're starting to get slightly low now. Like I said, this aircraft descends a little quicker than she does in real life. In real life, the A320 is a very, very clean aircraft. And I mean, she does not like descending and decelerating together. But definitely a fun aircraft to fly. Something's happened. All right, it's gone into user for some reason, so we just take over heading. Right. Anyway, she heard us say we want to take over from Sacro, so she's messed up. Let's. I wonder what the issue seems to be here. Let's just go direct. Charlie Delta. Alright, that seems to be fine as of now. That's the approach bug, I believe. Yeah, it's quite messed up. Just going to take heading 355. Vector ourselves. Yeah, I don't know what the user waypoints that keep popping up are. You don't see that in real life. You've got PD points, so pilot defined waypoints, but you've got to define them. User waypoints don't pop up automatically like this. So that is not realistic, and that's definitely something to fix. Once we're within about 25 miles, we'll start slowing down. All right, we've already slowed down. Speed is managed, so 250 is coming up now. The user waypoints do mess up the lateral navigation quite a bit. I wonder if what is this? Fly-by-wire. I wonder if fly-by-wire have any documentation on what they've done and why they've set it the way they have. All right, we'll actually continue slowing down. Let's slow down all the way to 220. And we'll continue taking left 350. Slight winds from the left. We've got tailwinds. That's not helping our descent. What do you mean? 8, 16, 24, and need about 34 miles. So we've got about 25. We're all in profile over here. I mean, you could check it over here with if this was sequenced properly, but since it's not, well, it does say 34, so we should be all good. Once again, we're doing a completely selected approach. Remember, and if I forget, please do remind me once we commence at descent, go around altitude is 4,600 feet. So please do remind me in case I forget. You guys are my first officers. Final descent point is at 4.6 DME. So 5.6, we have to set -3 in the FPA. Flight path angle. That'll be over here. All right, let's go speed 180 and flaps 1. What? There we go, speed selected 180. This is going to be an early stabilized approach. So we're going to be configured by a final descent point. Leave it on arc for now. Once we're a little closer, we'll change over to VOR mode. In a fully managed, you wouldn't need to, but since we're doing a fully selected approach, we'll be switching over. We're gonna have slight tailwinds on the approach. Just gonna keep that in mind. Prepare accordingly. All right, let's fine on profile actually. So we need to descend 3,000 feet more. That's approximately 9 miles it'll take. So we'll be 3,600 actually level off before we need to. So we'll go BS towards the end to not burn as much fuel, do a little bit of fuel saving. You think the airline makes us do enough fuel saving that I'd want to burn through in the sim, but good to keep your practice. Let's bring that down to 10. Slow ourselves down to 160 here, just so that it's easier to manage the approach, since I'm gonna have to do a lot of mouse clicking and everything a little closer on. Flaps 2, speed checks, flaps 2. Approach phase is activated. We can go VS minus 1,000. And radio altimeter is alive. Now, of course, you wouldn't be this low this early, or this slow this early, but I'm just doing everything to make sure we're all set and stabilized. And let's turn to adding okay, heading 010, 015, alt star. Just advise the crew. Waiting for that VOR needle to come alive. Although this is not a good intercept angle, you should be intercepting at somewhere around 30 degrees, so it will be 060, but here we are. Alright, we're at 8.4 DME right now. At around 6.6, we'll start configuring. 097. And 6.6 now, speed can go managed, gear down. Flaps 3, speed check, flaps 3, and flaps full, speed check, flaps full. Alright, what we're gonna do now is autopilot off, FD's off, bird on, track of 090. We're gonna follow the VOR radial, we're gonna correct. Slightly descending, we don't want that. 4.6 DME should be 3600, so let's small correction required. Alright, 4.10. We've actually started a descent pretty late, so we're gonna keep it at 1000 feet per minute here. And if I can get a time to look up so that I can see where the bloody runway is. There we go. So we are off from the runway. As you can see, the two parallel runways, although they cannot be used in parallel. So let's continue our descent here. 1000 feet at 2 DME, we should be 2830. So we're low, we're coming in slightly low. Let's correct for that now. Coming back onto center line. At 1 DME should be 2520. Ah, I see
500.
what's happened over here. We've messed up.
Minimum.
Now we're low. So let's just continue visually. I was wondering why we're coming in so low. Continue.
400.
Correcting the profile.
300.
We got tailwind, so we'll keep that in mind.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Spoilers. Oh shit, I don't think we have spoilers there. My rudder got stuck on the wall behind. Yeah, alright, reverse green. No spoilers, reverse green, decel. Not the best approach, but we're gonna have to take that manual braking. I don't think that was the best landing either. Ground control is really wonky after most of it. Yeah, man, it just ran away on me, and my rudder got stuck. But hey, what can you do? I landed with a tailwind. We'll go check out what the landing accuracy and landing rate was. Very clear outside. You would start the timer normally for 2 minutes of, sorry, 3 minutes engine cooldown time. And once you're clear, I'll just do the after landing flows. We'll just stop. Okay, we've got to follow me here on a taxiway. They don't. He's blocking our way. All right, buddy, you go first. I'm gonna do my flows for a second. All right, parking brakes on. We'll leave that on. We're not gonna tell anyone about this, yeah? That's a deal. We missed the landing lights. All right. Spoilers disarm. Weather radar can go off. Predictive windshield system off. Flaps retracted. TCAS standby. Come up here, recycle the seatbelt so that they can do the announcements and start the APU. Are you gonna get out of my way? Yes. Thank you very much, buddy. We'll just continue a taxi, find a bay that we like, and park in over there. As of right now, we would be on Alpha. I think we vacated Alpha 2. So we should have Bravo 2 available or Bravo 3. And we'll take one of those in. Oh, we've got some stands off to our right. We'll just take one of these stands. Does this follow me for us? I think it might actually be for us. Let's try out where the follow me is taking us and see if. Buddy, you want to maybe like get out of my way? Thank you for your services, but please take your time. No, absolutely not. No one, the passengers have not already got up to take the seat, their baggage out of the overhead trays, as they always do. Buddy, move, please. I don't think that's a very safe area you're at. Is he gonna move, or is this a game of chicken? I don't think he's got intentions of moving. We're just gonna ignore him and do our own thing. All right, parking brakes are on, bleed is on, pump is off, 3 minutes are up, and we're clear to cut. There we go. We're done with the flight. Thank you very much for joining in, guys. I hope you guys did pick up something today with the VOR approach. Although we did mess up at the end a little bit, I'm still getting a hang of the simulator and flying with the mouse and all of that. But it was a good session for me. If there's anything you guys feel I rushed through, feel free to ask me, and I'll go over it again whenever required. If you liked the stream and you've not already followed, please do follow. It really does help out a lot. Thanks again for joining in, and take care, everyone. Stay